The next token I've been talking about is TRVL. Why do I talk about TRVL? Well, because I am a true believer of this project, Dtravel. I've been involved for over 4 years. I'm not employed. I like it because I'm an Airbnb superhost. This is my profile. I've been doing it for over 10 years, 4.99. And because I do Airbnb, I like the idea of a decentralized Airbnb, which is what this is at the moment. You can search for properties in Brazil, for example, and you can book directly with the property owners. You can avoid the costs, get accommodation for cheaper prices, go to their direct booking website, and you can book directly. You can pay in crypto as well, and it's all registered on the blockchain. It works. It's a working real world application. It works. I've shown that it works, but I'll show you again. If you go to the Telegram channel and you have a look, new booking site activated, new booking process, you can see it's working. New booking processed, new booking processed. It's working, isn't it? You can see it's working. New booking processed, new booking. Look at all these new booking processed, new booking process. So it's working. And this is the first iteration, the first stages of this project. Was this kind of decentralized Airbnb. There's been a massive pivot, massive change in direction. We're not getting rid of this. We're just adding another direction, new layer to what's happening. The new CEO, Eric Pace, a friend of mine, he made a post on January the 9th. He talked about the future of Dtravel, ownership, identity, and continuity. I'm going to post that in chat. And if you haven't looked at this post, go and have a look at it. He talks about the why. The why is really important. He talks about what it means about the bit for the business. And then he's talking about TRVL. That's what I'm interested in, TRVL. He's saying that TRVL is being shifted towards structured capital that helps power trust between strangers. So he's identified a real problem in the market. It's not a small problem, it's a big problem, and he's identified how we can fix it. Not just that, how we can bring value. If Dtravel's bet is right, TRVL is no longer peripheral, it becomes integral to the core infrastructure that fuels this entire ecosystem. So this is a big move. It's a big move in a big industry. It's an $11 trillion plus travel market. And he's talking about TRVL becoming central to the future of what we're building. He's done a lot of Q&As, and I've talked about the Q&As. If you go to my YouTube, I talk about, in my previous streams, I talk about the strategic pivot, the token burns, etc. So I talk a lot about Dtravel and TRVL. Last week I was just talking about heavy accumulation happening. I still believe that nothing's changed. We went down, we went down even further, and I did say last week I have no idea what's going to happen. I don't know if we're going to go down again to test the lows, and we had a really nice bounce yesterday, and we're getting a little bit of continuation. To be honest with you, this is looking good right now because we had a piercing candle. That's what this candle is. It's a piercing candle. It's bullish, but if it's only bullish if the next day's candle, which is today, is green. So it looks like we're getting a little bit of a reversal here. It's a little bit of a reversal with a higher low. Right now, this is looking quite bullish in the context of this bearish, mega bearish chart. I have been talking about the possibility of a WXY pivot forming. I've talked about that a lot on this MEXC chart. We're coming into that zone now of a possible pivot forming where this could be a major low put in right now. Time will tell her. It's always hard to predict the future, but maybe we are putting in a massive pivot low. Maybe there is going to be a mini alt season and we can see a nice pump here. Maybe, lots of maybes. When I look at this other chart, this combined chart, looking at the monthly time frame, we got decreasing volume on the previous month. You see that? These two red candles. Decreasing volume. So it's not as bearish as you think. We've gone down. Price is going back up. I think it's possible we do get a really nice pivot here. Or like a real higher time frame pivot here. And it's crazy how people sold. Someone sold at a tenth of a what is that fraction? It's like a tenth of a cent. People were selling at a tenth of a cent. I don't know why you would do that. Real fear, huh? It's a real capitulation. This candle here is a capitulation candle, and I guess some people just capitulated. Huh? They were just like, "This is it. I'm out." There's nothing you can do, you know, when people have given up. That's it, they've given up. But I said last week that with these microcap altcoins, the reality is that they are gambles. You could become extremely rich or you could lose all your money. And so therefore what you need is an effective strategy of accumulation. So this is it. This is like we're in an accumulation point here. If you have an effective strategy, why would you not buy these prices? These are the right prices to buy at, because you get slippage, but it doesn't matter because you're so low. If you look at the volume, we're still in the range. Like we're still in the range. We're in the volume range. We haven't lost the range. We have this value area low. We've pushed it down a little bit, but there it is. So value, we're in the range. So as far as I'm concerned, there's nothing scary about touching the value area low, coming to the lows. It's just normal. And I've been talking to Andrea this week. She's our community manager. She does the Telegram and the X post, and she's been posting actually. There's been some conversations in Telegram. I think it's best to just go there and have a look for yourselves. I'm not going to go through it and read it because I don't want the stream to be too long. Leandro has been kind of making his thoughts heard. He's very open and honest, and that's kind of the great thing about Dtravel. The great thing about the community is that we're open, we're honest, we say what we feel, and it's not that's what we want. We want a community which is open and honest, and we can just talk about our thoughts without retribution or animosity. We can just say what we feel. Andrea's been kind of doing what she does. She's been working hard. They've just shared, she's started a new section called What the Something Happened, and she's continuously engaging with the community. And she says, thanks to the community members for your suggestions. Shout out to me, Beard Prince, that's me. So thank you, Andrea, Harry Jacks, and these other guys. And then she posts some things. There's some conversations going on here. I'm not going to go through them, but this is engagement. This is a community that is growing. It's vibrant. It's active. It's not dying. If anything, it's becoming more active and more vibrant and more enthusiastic about the future. And that doesn't mean there is no criticism or no critique. That's all part of the communities. It's always important to be honest, and so it's important also to come and give you feedback. And here all the feedback is read. And even though Eric doesn't always respond immediately, he does read the feedback, he does read the comments. And if there's anything pertinent, then I do kind of remind him. I say, look, make sure you read that, make sure you answer that. And he does. And if he doesn't, then usually Andrea is there answering too. So go in there and have a look. Now, I've been kind of thinking about Dtravel. I've been thinking a lot about Dtravel. I've been thinking a lot about the future of Dtravel and the future of the charts. And I think a lot of people ask me, or have asked me, why do you continue banging the drum? Why do I continue drumming bullishly about Dtravel and TRVL? Well, look, I haven't made a penny from Dtravel. I haven't made a penny. Okay, I've been a host on Dtravel for 3.5 years. I've turned over bookings, so I've made money from my own business, which I have used on Dtravel. So I have my direct booking site. This is on Dtravel. I've made money from this, but this is just my business. Yeah, this is my real world business. Instead of using Airbnb, I will send return guests and return visitors and people who message me directly. I'll send them to my Dtravel site and they'll book directly. And so I do support Dtravel through my own business. But I haven't made any money from the crypto. I haven't. I've lost money, in fact. Look at it. I've lost money. Look at it. I've lost money. What I've tried to do is accumulate more and never sell. Yeah. So even though technically, from a USD perspective, I'm at a loss, the truth is that I never really expected us to lose 2 cents. I've talked about this in the past. And so I was accumulating. I didn't have much, you know, I had a few million TRVL. I didn't sell because I was really bullish on this project. I was looking higher time frame, all-time highs. And so naturally, as the price started to drop, I see that as an opportunity to buy more TRVL because I'm still bullish. I'm still higher time frame bullish on Dtravel and TRVL. Yeah. If anything, I'm more bullish now than I ever have been for all the reasons that I have explained in my videos on my YouTube. New leadership. I've talked about the new leadership. I've talked about the mistakes in the past. I've talked about why I think this is a gem. I've talked about the new CEO, Eric Pace. I've talked about all of the problems and why. I've gone into the reasons why we're here now. And I've explained. I've tried to explain with openness and honesty. Okay. But I'm now looking at this as an opportunity because it's allowed me personally to increase my TRVL holding by 5x without spending hundreds of thousands of dollars to do that. Yeah. If the price had kind of stayed here, I wouldn't have been able to do that. And sure, my original investment would still be at a high fiat value, but my TRVL accumulation stack would be significantly lower. And I'm still believing, or I'm still expecting in the future, I don't know when, for us to take out the all-time high. For me, that hasn't changed. We either go to zero or we go and take out the all-time high, somewhere around there. Yeah. It was always the case, though. It was always like, even when we're here, it's always like you could lose all your money or you could go to all-time high. It's just that now, if we do in the future go to the all-time high, you can make a lot more money. Yeah, because it's given me personally an opportunity to increase my TRVL holdings at a much lower price, right? So I've only seen this as an opportunity to buy more TRVL, but what's really kind of like what I've been thinking about recently is that we're doing more than, it's more than just crypto speculation here. Dtravel is building a real world network, and I've talked about this. This is the real world network. But more than that, we're building a community, and the community is evident to see in the Telegram channel. you can see it. The community is growing. More and more people are commenting, are interacting, are sharing their feedback. Different people who haven't spoken before, people I haven't seen before, are starting to engage. And people who have been around for years, like Kitikami and Wales, and then others who are more recent. And then I was having a conversation this week with Andrea, and I was in India. I was talking to Andrea and another person called Nikita from India. And in my mind, I've got this idea of something. And I'm not going to waste too much time today talking about the something, but I do feel that when I look at the market cap of TRVL, it's really low. Like, it's a shade above $500,000 right now. I'm not looking at the fully diluted. I'm just looking at the current market cap based on circulating supply. It wouldn't take many people to hold the low now. It would only, at the current price, it would only take 500 people buying $1,000 worth of TRVL to hold this low. 500 people. And if you look at the analytics, we've got 11,000 operator signups. We've got 6,260 listings. So we have the value. We have the people who have the value to do this. And we also have a community that's becoming more and more active. And we are growing this community from almost from square one. But it doesn't matter, because it's almost like we had to kind of clear out the old and start afresh. New leadership, new vision, new direction, new community. That's what we're building now, a new community, a community of people who truly believe in the future of Dtravel. And not only that, they're willing to put their eggs in this basket, and they're willing to get behind and support Eric and Eric's vision for the future, which he talks about in this Telegraph post that he made. This one and the Dtravel blog post. So if you go to Dtravel, he made a blog post back in November. Let me go to it. This new chapter. This is all new. And this is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking, well, look, what we really need to do as a community now at these prices is accumulate, because we can easily find 500 people. I think in the whole world, we can easily find 500 people who are willing to accumulate at these prices $1,000 worth of TRVL. I don't think that's a hard task, actually. And I think once we do that, we've bottomed out. That's it. The bottom's in. Because you have 500 people who are willing to accumulate. Well, it's about 1 million. It's just under 1 million TRVL at these prices. 1 million. And these people are true believers. They're never going to sell. And once you do that, you've created the bottom. But also what I've been thinking of is, how great would it be if you had more people, I don't know how many, but as many as possible, who are buying TRVL in increments on a regular basis, and maybe weekly is the right time frame. Can you imagine if we can create a movement of people buying $10 or $50 or $20, whatever people can afford, like coffee money, disposable money that has no significant value to them, that they can just spend on a regular basis. It wouldn't take that many people for us to create a movement of people willing to do that, willing to buy TRVL on a weekly basis, $50 a week, $50 a week, $50 a week. At these prices, at these liquidity levels, we will bottom out very quickly. Yeah. And this is my challenge to anyone who's watching my videos. Obviously not that many people watch my videos, so obviously I don't have the biggest reach. But everyone has friends, and everyone knows people, and everyone can talk to a friend, and anyone who is watching can start doing that. Wouldn't it be good if everyone who's watching my videos would commit, would pledge and say, hey, I'm a true believer of Dtravel. I don't have the money to buy $500,000 worth of TRVL now, but hey, I could help, I can contribute, I can buy $10 a week, I can commit to that, I can commit to $20 a week, or I can commit to $50 a week. And that's what I'm kind of setting. I'm challenging you. If you're watching my videos, if you are a true believer of Dtravel, get in touch with me on Telegram or on this video. I'd like to see if we can get people now to start accumulating on a weekly basis. And this is higher time frame accumulation now. These are people who are going to buy and never sell, or at least hodl until the all-time high. Yeah, that's kind of the challenge. The all-time high is 1.56, somewhere around there. Buying $10 a week. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, we're at the lows here now for 5 months, for the next 5 months, or let's say 4 months. I'm going to do it on my calculator. 4 months is 16 weeks. Let's just say you do buy $10 a week. It's only $160. Let's say your average price of TRVL is where the point of control is, which is 0.0017. You'll end up with a shade under 100,000 TRVL. So for $160, if you buy $10 a week for the next 16 weeks, you're risking $160. You're accumulating a nearly 100,000 TRVL. And in the future, when we get to the all-time high at $1.56, it's actually 94,000 TRVL. But let's just round it up to 100,000. Then you end up with $156,000. So your $160 becomes $160,000. Yeah. Now imagine if we can get a movement of people buying $10 a week, $20 a week, if they can afford it, $50 a week or $100 a week. It won't take that much. It won't take that many people for us not only to bottom out, but really bottom out, like truly bottom out. True believers who are willing to just buy a little bit of TRVL on a weekly basis. Not like I bought TRVL now when Moon, when Lambo. I'm talking about people who are willing to buy every single week. Buy. But you don't have to buy a lot. Just buy $10. Coffee money. It's like 2 cappuccinos of TRVL every week. Yeah, and it doesn't matter about the price then. It doesn't matter if the price goes up and down. All that matters is that now we're creating a movement of people accumulating, and then we can truly bottom out here. This is how we bottom out at these prices, at this market cap, with this network of people who maybe have never bought TRVL, have never even thought about TRVL. We have the people now, we have the value, and we're at the correct price, the correct part of the chart to be able to do that, to start that movement of people. So that's kind of what I'm kind of thinking, and not financial advice, it's all entertainment, but I just wonder if there are people out there who watch my videos, or if people out there who know people who are willing to make a pledge and join with me and anyone else who's interested to start buying on a weekly basis. So I'm going to start doing this. So not every week I'm going to start buying a little bit of TRVL. I've been doing it. I've been buying TRVL in this drop, but now I'm not talking about buying crazy amounts. I'm just talking about bit by bit by bit, little by little by little. Yeah, and if we can get a movement of people doing that, all the people that I've been kind of, these are the people we want to start with. We're the ones who start this off. If everyone here is willing to participate, then we start off the movement of people. There's enough people in the Telegram and the Dtravel community to do this, and that's when we bottom out, and then we support. It buys time for Eric and the rest of the leadership to do what they've proposed in their posts on Telegraph and the blog, the new chapter. Gives them the opportunity, the time they need to do what they've said they want to do. All right. That's all I'm going to say. There's nothing really else to say, actually. I do think that we're pivoting here, but again, not financial advice. I think these are really good prices. Like if you want to start accumulating, you're not going to get a better opportunity than this. I don't think we're going to go down much more. Again, I'm not really bothered, actually. The lower we go, the cheaper I can accumulate more TRVL for lower prices. I've been buying. Yeah. And eventually it will bottom out, just because the price of the market comes so low that it'll be impossible for the price to go down further, because you have people like me who are willing to spend thousands of dollars and just buy millions of TRVL. Yeah. If the price was to drop another 10x, if this market cap went down to whatever, $100,000, I think I'd probably end up buying all the TRVL. Probably. I think I'll buy the whole lot. I'm not bothered. Me personally, I'm not bothered, because I really believe that one day in the future, we're going to become a giant. Yeah. And so I just see all of this as an opportunity, and it's an opportunity for all those people who haven't bought TRVL, who haven't got a big enough stack to start accumulating. And if we can get enough people to support that idea, then this is the perfect place and price to do that. Yeah. But I've never intended to sell, and I'm not intending to sell, certainly not at these prices. I just see it as an opportunity. So it's all food for thought. If you like this video, I wouldn't mind if you share it or like it, or at least subscribe to my YouTube. And then I'm going to do another update next week. Next week, I'm going to be in El Salvador. I'm going back to El Salvador on Tuesday. I'm back in El Salvador, so I'll be doing some live streaming and live analysis from El Salvador. I'll be talking about El Salvador a lot more from next week onwards. So that'll be interesting. They were tired of me talking about El Salvador every week, and now I'm going to be back in El Salvador. I'll be talking about El Salvador every week. And so keep an eye out for that. Again, I'm wearing the Dtravel cap. I'll be proudly representing Dtravel in El Salvador from next week. And that's going to be fun. All right. So I hope you have a great weekend. And then until next week, goodbye.